I'm 33 years old and I've never seen my country free, so this is the first time I wake up and feel happy about what's happening. I'm happy. I'm so happy because nobody can know what we Venezuelans have lived through. Nobody.
What's happening with the Venezuelans and your fellow countrymen who attack you? Are they celebrating today?
Yes, those Venezuelans clearly depend on this regime, and there was no other choice. Venezuela has been fighting against this regime for years. Venezuela has been taking to the streets for years asking for help, and this is the first time someone has done something. Those Venezuelans, unfortunately live off this regime, and they don't have another option because some are threatened and others because it's the only way they know how to live.
How do we Argentinians treat them?
Argentina has always treated me well. I'm very happy and grateful to Argentinians. My children are Argentinian, and I'm proud of that. Say hi to the camera. Venezuela and Argentina has always treated me like a daughter. I've identified as Argensolana my entire adult life. I've worked and practiced my profession in Argentina, and I'm deeply grateful. I'll never have enough time to thank this country enough.
You're seeing how Donald Trump is going to move now in Venezuela, right? A little while ago he spoke and said that he's going to intervene in the country in some way, that it's going to be a transition. How do you feel about that and about the discourse from many people who talk about colonialism, about being invaded?
It's very difficult to think that this regime will end just by removing Maduro. This regime is a group of drug traffickers, and it goes beyond Maduro. Maduro is just another puppet, just another figurehead. That's why we believe that there's no other way if no other country offers to help Venezuela manage this transition. Also, if you heard statements from the United States. He also talked about how Venezuela was militarized by Cubans and that they had also been attacked by Cubans, which means Venezuela was already being intervened by other countries. So, it's very difficult for us as Venezuelans to free ourselves on our own without the help of another democratic country that could help us, which we agree with. Or at least, as a Venezuelan woman, I feel that I agree with another democratic country intervening to support us.
We tried every democratic option for years. People voted and there was no other choice. It had to be this way.
I'm going to.
And it couldn't just be about removing him or 2 or 5 more from the top, but about guaranteeing control. Because what remains there now is, let's say, terrorists and guerrillas who have taken over the country. Even if the right politicians try to do the right things, they lack control and need support and power.
Do you see United States intervention as the lesser evil compared to Maduro?
It's definitely wrong, but I'll pay that price twice if you want.
Yes, I totally agree, just like I said a moment ago. We're not happy because another country is invading us. We're happy because we're being freed from a yoke that's lasted more than 30 years. What he did was murder people. More than 18,000 political prisoners, more than an exodus of 8 million Venezuelans, which only tells you about having lived a very difficult life during these 30 years. And we prefer to open ourselves up to the possibility of having other options.
Hello Maria, thanks for the interview. Where in Venezuela are you from?
From Maracaibo, Zulia State.
How long have you been in Argentina?
7 years.
Tell me and tell the people who are watching this, what was it like living in Venezuela?
It wasn't living, just surviving. Waking up each day anxious about what might or might not happen.
It was lacking water or enough resources for 3 meals a day.
Watching families suffer from illness, unable to help because we lacked medicine, was difficult. In Venezuela, people don't live, they just survive.
I mean, the people who are in Venezuela now are also surviving.
Yes, the reality is also that in Venezuela right now, with so many people leaving the country, there are people who constantly send money to Venezuela for their families. And because of that, the situation might seem stable, but the reality is that people survive thanks to those who are abroad, to those who emigrated and are working outside the country. I have family in Venezuela, and every day, every week, I have to send them money, and sometimes that money is losing value every single day. One week I can send 80,000 Argentine pesos, but the next week I have to send 150,000 because it keeps losing value constantly.
Your fellow countrymen, Venezuelans who defend Maduro, how do you explain that?
It's an ideology they've developed over many years, and it's the only reality they've ever known. It's impossible to ask those people without education, with low resources, to think differently. I'm Venezuelan, I really defend those who are abroad, but I also understand and empathize with those who couldn't see another reality, only that one.
Okay, and what do you think about so many things that are happening today? When we recorded this interview, it was Saturday. A few hours ago, Donald Trump announced the United States government will lead Venezuela's democratic transition. Many critics of the government of Donald Trump and the right wing, so to speak, They say you're being invaded and colonized, that they're after oil and don't actually want to help. How do you feel about that?
I feel that nobody knows what we've been through. Right now, I would rather be invaded by someone I don't know than to keep being invaded by other governments that destroyed my chance at a childhood, youth, sharing with my friends, and being with my family.
What you just said is really powerful, and I'm looking you in the eyes and you're emotional. I'm telling this to the people watching. Lastly, what would you say to Argentinians? Since you've lived here a long time, how do Argentinians treat you? What would you like to tell us?
Thank you. Thank you, because you have been one of the only countries that have truly opened your doors to us.
You didn't view us as competitors, thieves, or invaders. Instead, you saw us as people eager to work, progress, and help improve this country, something we couldn't achieve back home.
What's your name?
Mirjali Suarez.
And is she your daughter? What's your name?
Sara Oropesa.
Girls, how long in Argentina?
We've been here nearly 6 years.
We came right before the pandemic.
Okay, you were very little?
Yeah, I was 10 years old. 10 years old.
Oh well, but do you have memories of living in Venezuela?
Yes, of course.
What was it like living in Venezuela?
It was complicated, but it's my beautiful country. I enjoyed my country, my friends, all my family there. I always enjoyed my country despite the difficulties and everything. Due to difficulties, we had to leave.
Leaving your home country must have been tough, right?
Yes, my husband arrived first and has been here longer. We came later because we couldn't stand the distance anymore. We experienced a power outage and spent days without electricity, and my husband said we couldn't be apart anymore.
We didn't have a choice.
Yes, because financially things were getting harder and harder, unstable days, fear of what might happen.
How much? I'm Argentinian. I'm telling people who might be watching this on YouTube anywhere in the world. And I haven't lived in Venezuela, and I don't know Venezuela either. Why was it dangerous to live in Venezuela? What could happen on a normal day when you went out on the street besides the economic crisis?
I can tell you I was at the marches and protests, and we saw many young people die for no reason. None of the young people at the protests were armed. You saw them defending the country and trying to escape the situation, which was already dangerous. Besides the fear that every day it became harder to talk about how you felt because you had to somehow protect yourself, because there were people in the area where you lived, people you knew, who somehow knew or agreed with the government that was in power at the time. And sometimes you weren't, and it was hard to say it. You felt like I would say this, with your lips, with your mouth closed, well.
I recently posted on my open social media where anyone can comment. Many Venezuelans, Argentinians, and people worldwide responded. And those who don't agree with you celebrating today feel that you are right-wing, because I imagine there's also uncertainty about what might happen, right?
Of course, I say that's the word that describes one of the emotions we have right now. Because we're not only excited about what's happening and trying to look on the bright side of the situation, but we also have that feeling, what you're saying, an uncertainty about what's going to happen now. What do we depend on now for the country to move forward? What can those of us outside do to help? We care deeply about those experiencing the situation firsthand. It's complicated to know what we'll do now, since we just got out from under one person. It's not just him, it's everything around us. But the citizens in Venezuela didn't have the power that the government has.
It seems like this couldn't be changed peacefully, right?
Look, it was done peacefully. We tried through voting, and it was a whole process. It was a trap not to accept that we wanted change. Those of us outside, those inside the country. And so sometimes we don't know what to do. We had to, or someone else had to make the decision. We hope this is truly best for everyone, especially since our family is there. Friends, for us Venezuelans, our country hurts us a lot. The situation hurts us a lot. And what we have left now is faith, hope. As many say, and as I saw on social media today, we all hope this leads to a good solution for the country.
Do you want to return and live in your country or stay here and just visit?
Of course, I want to see my friends, family, and my grandmother there. I'm worried about all the people who are there because I know it's not easy and it won't be easy. But honestly, I hope that as soon as possible I can see my family, my friends, that I can be there again, feel at home.
I'll ask one last question since you seem very emotional. Being here with your flag, do you feel happiness, joy, or liberation?
Yes, there is.
Obviously.
And in some way that's it. It's the faith that everything will be okay. And I don't know if you'll let me thank the Argentinians. Because they really welcomed us with open arms. They have such big hearts. And we want you to share our happiness For Venezuela and Argentina to progress, we have faith in our country. It's been 6 years since we've seen our family, only through a camera, through video calls. We want to be with them, but also to show our love for Argentina and give back to Argentinians by working hard, respecting rules, and being excellent citizens for all they've given us as Venezuelans.
I'm getting emotional because you are too. All the Venezuelans I know have my gratitude, so I share it with you on behalf of everyone I know from your country. Thank you for this interview.
No, thank you for giving us this opportunity. And well, Venezuela, we will move forward because we know that's how it is.
Just before our interview, I saw you all celebrating and hugging. Well, there's no need for me to describe the atmosphere of joy and happiness. How does it feel to be Venezuelan today on this historic day?
Very happy, wonderful, and proud always. Exciting. I still can't believe it, but well, many good things will happen soon. We just need to wait. I'm very happy.
There's a sense of optimism, right?
Yes, after a long time, many years, because we've been in this for quite a few years, we can really feel happy and hopeful.
How long has it been since you left Venezuela?
It's been 7 years for both of us.
7 years?
7, 8 years.
Did everyone come directly to Argentina?
Yes.
Well then, what happened in Argentina? How did we Argentinians welcome you? What has your experience been like living in our country?
Argentina is the best country in the world.
We love you. He's Argentinian.
You're the infiltrator, of course. Can I ask you a couple more questions that have to do with what might happen in Venezuela? Recently, Donald Trump spoke and 2 points stood out to us as journalists. I want to ask you about them, which is why I'm coming to you. The first is that he didn't mention Maria Corina Machado as an option, or at least he said she doesn't have popular support, which really caught our attention. He also said the United States will oversee Venezuela until a transition is set up. What are your thoughts on that statement? Many people and international analysts on social media are discussing an invasion, that you are now a colony of the United States, that they're not really helping you because they're good, but because they're after the oil. As Venezuelans, how do you feel about that?
There are so many opinions and political stances, too many perspectives, everyone sees it differently.
Trump's speech surprised us. Honestly, we didn't expect it. Nothing today was expected.
We were all calm at home, and suddenly at 3 in the morning, our relatives called us. Caracas is on fire. This is happening.
Honestly, as Venezuelans who've been worn out from years of fighting, this is clearly a joy for us.
I'm going to use a phrase that we Argentinians use. It's the lesser evil, exactly.
Exactly, it's a bad thing within what you could say is, okay, I mean, it's not like, oh yes, what a joy.
They bombed. No, of course not. We never expected to see Caracas bombed.
This has happened for the first time in Venezuela's history, at least from what I know.
Unfortunately, it had to be this way. No, you don't negotiate with criminals or dictators or any of them. An executioner doesn't beg for mercy. This was inevitable.
You lived in Venezuela. Can you describe a typical day there, especially right before you left? What was daily life like?
The hardest thing for us Venezuelans was Christmas. Christmas with family, the halakas, ham bread, and everything we did together. It was amazing, spectacular, and it wasn't just something that we experienced in everyday life. Because let's be clear, it took 26 years for this to happen. But I think that the family hug is what we miss the most. Now that we're seeing that there really is democracy, because the records are there. Imagine that when we saw that in July of last year, we were happy. We came here to the obelisk, I came here to the obelisk. But we had to wait a year and a half for this to really happen.
And last year the elections were validated because Edmundo really won the elections. And Edmundo is backed by Maria Corina. And even though right now people say Maria Corina doesn't have support, I think that will happen over time, and now what people want is a capable transition as smooth as possible. And the Venezuelan daily. My relatives and all families, what they want now is that even if it's a transition, it should be as smooth as possible because we all want everyone to be okay.
And we're going to go back to Venezuela and we're going to enjoy our Christmas, which was taken from us by the Chavistas and also by Maduro's people.
I emigrated in 2018 after 2017, which was one of the worst years to live in Venezuela.
I studied at the public university in Venezuela, and I took part in many protests, many protests.
We were repressed a lot, and I remember that at that time the shortage in Venezuela was unbearable.
I mean, my breaking point, for example, my personal breaking point was not being able to find cleaning products, personal hygiene products.
The basics?
Basic products were unavailable in supermarkets. I mean, we would ask our friends or family who lived abroad to send us products instead of Christmas gifts, like, please, send me some shampoo.
Literally, that's how far we got. And Well, there are a lot of people who don't understand it because they didn't live through it, and I get that too because it's easy to have an opinion when you haven't experienced it.
Honestly, it was something truly historic. We're here because of him, and honestly, we haven't let go for a moment.
We're very grateful to the Argentinians and for everyone coming together today. I think it's excellent and truly appreciate it all.
Were you very little when you left your country?
Yes, I was 2 years old.
Do you remember anything?
With him, not really. I only remember one thing.
Did you come from Venezuela 9 years ago?
Well, look, we migrated in 2016, almost 9 years ago now. We had a problem because we had professions. I'm an engineer, my wife has a degree, and we couldn't cover the expenses of a typical family.
Even though we were professionals?
Even though we were professionals, we couldn't even cover food for 15 days with both salaries in cash on the table at home. And we couldn't afford to provide food for him who was 2 years old and she was on the way. Imagine what it means for pregnancy medicine, treatments, and everything. We had health insurance, but it didn't cover everything and it was tough. There were times when you had breakfast so I could have lunch, the kid would have a snack, but neither of us would, and that's how things were.
Eating mango, going straight to the mango tree, picking them, washing them, and feeding ourselves with mangoes.
I imagine that making the decision to leave the country where you were born isn't easy, especially when these are the conditions, right? Because it's not like you're going to try your luck somewhere else while things are good in your own country. Beyond the economic aspect, what was life like in terms of safety?
Not bad, as you can see me here. I got shot at twice. Luckily, they didn't hit me. Once was to steal my truck and the other was an attempted hit. I mean, someone right next to me, and the last straw was when they took my car while I was with my mom. They pointed a gun at my mom and they pushed my pregnant wife, Samuel, to the ground. 2 years ago, before 2016, security was already non-existent.
Is this the lesser evil? Was what happened today better than if Maduro had stayed in power?
Venezuela has long negotiated oil deals with the United States. This isn't new just because the United States is involved now. The United States was the first foreign nation to arrive in the early 20th century to exploit the oil. In the 70s, it was nationalized by a neoliberal or capitalist government, whatever you want to call it. They nationalized it and kept working to the point that the national company Bandera, which is oil from Venezuela, became the fourth most important in the world. So now the sectors of the socialist faction want to make you believe that it's because you don't love your country, because the Yankees are coming for the oil. And now I'll add another question. What did the Iranians want? What do the Cubans want? What do the Russians want? What do the Chinese want? That answer is rhetorical and basic. The United States has historically been involved in extracting, producing, and commercializing Venezuelan hydrocarbons. So obviously there will be an interest because of this military action that took place early this morning.
Since I'm stubborn and the poll I did on Instagram was filled with Argentinians giving all sorts of opinions, I visited the obelisk to hear Venezuelans' testimonies about this historic and controversial day. Going straight to the source seemed best, right? I'm here with Amber, who was telling me off the record. How long have you been in Argentina?
7 years already.
7 years. How did Argentina welcome you, and how have these 7 years been for you here?
Honestly, I can't complain about how things have gone for me here. From the start, it was my own decision, not just about adapting. But the welcome it's hard to explain. Here they welcome you more than in any other country that's not your own. So I've always been grateful from the very beginning. Now even more, since they give you room to express the joy you feel from learning what happened. That's why I value and love it so much.
I'd like to ask about today's historic day.
Maduro is currently arriving in New York as we record this interview, and he will be judged.
I always believe there are political motives. There's always hidden interests affecting us, the ones suffering, right? But I don't think the situation will get worse than it already was.
That's the answer everyone is giving me.
No, but that's how it is. I wouldn't be so far from home if they hadn't forced you. Do you get me? If they hadn't forced you into such an extreme situation that you had to leave.
What was it like living in Venezuela?
I left a while ago too, but it just wasn't possible anymore. For me, there were always those who managed, those who struggled, and those in between. My situation was becoming unsustainable.
Economically speaking, I mean...
Of course, yes. Even with a job, you couldn't afford food. If you could, you lacked transportation, and with no gas or spare car parts, driving wasn't possible. I mean, like that. So everything gets to a point where it overwhelms you. But now I swear to God, I feel an emotion I can't explain. I say, yes, I'm leaving. I don't know. Nothing compares to being in your homeland. It's like everything. It's been 2 years that have already passed, so I don't know. I'm telling you that I will go, even if it's just for a vacation.
Do you want to ask me questions?
Of course, that's what cultural interaction is about.
Go ahead already.
I've already told you how I felt here all this time. What do you think about the Venezuelans who have come here? How does it all seem to you? Because honestly, it's kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
We invaded you all.
Look, I have something with you all. I love you all, as my Venezuelan friends and colleagues have only given me good experiences. I have nothing negative to say. As a journalist, today was historic. I was surprised by all the controversy on social media. You probably saw it too, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people criticizing you guys because they said no, but they're not patriots. It interested me so much that I decided to interview Venezuelans directly for their real opinions. That's what I did.
Me. Yes, like I told you, everything is always going to be divided. But well, I love it. I love that you love us.
What was it like living in Venezuela until 4 months ago?
It really depends on your situation, but honestly, everything feels torturous, even the smallest thing. For example, at least in my case, I work freelance, and what really bothered me was that at some point they would start cutting the power. We'll have to wait in lines. Right now, lines exist because of uncertainty about what's happening. So people are already crowding together to buy food. That's what I wanted to avoid, let's say. And well, precisely things like electricity, water, food, basic things.
How did you live there? Did you live with your family or did you live alone?
Yes, at my parents' house.
And were you studying, working? What were you doing?
I was working. I was only focused on work, which is online, remote work.
Okay, was the money enough for you? Did you have enough money?
Yes, exactly. But that's because the money came from abroad, not from working for a company there. So living in Venezuela makes sense. But even with all that, it's not the same quality of life as at least here in Argentina. With things as simple as transportation. Transportation over there just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Of course, were you there when the election took place last year?
It was my first election, the first I voted in, and the first stolen from me.
You've shared your opinion. How was it to experience that electoral process in Venezuela?
People really had high expectations. I mean, we really believed that by voting, something would actually happen. Like, with our vote, we were going to get the government out. And, well, we know what happened, but in the end, they decided to do whatever they wanted and nothing changed, but we went with a lot of hope, really.
There's something happening today that's historic beyond the fall of Maduro. It's the United States intervening, right? The United States entering another territory. Some use the word invading, others say intervening.
Most Venezuelans are bothered by this management issue, but it's our only option. We have no other choice. I mean, nobody wants to say that another country should come invade us or take things from us. Nobody wants that. But in the end, since we don't really have military forces to back us up, what are we going to do? No one else is going to come help us. He has his own interests, and we know he'll want something in return, but nothing. At least he's getting involved, let's say.
There was no other way for Maduro to leave power.
No, violence. I mean, unfortunately, it sounds bad. It's not the best. But there really wasn't a diplomatic or political way to do anything, right? The United States is not going to invest that much money because it's millions of dollars a day just to keep the Marines there. They wouldn't invest that much without expecting something back. It was predictable.
Would you go back to your country to live?
The change is cultural and social, not only about money. So it's gonna take at least a decade for things to get better. So personally, I see myself there, though it could take a decade.
Hey, two infiltrators because I was interviewing the Venezuelan brothers and you came over to say, hey, Hector, how are you? All good?
All good, thank God. We're here supporting Venezuela with the people from Venezuela.
Attend the paranormal night. Watch it, because we're always supporting there. And always support.
Yes, I always support because it's a great show. I love it and always watch you.
I don't know. For us, it's a lot of emotions. We're really happy. But it's also kind of bittersweet because our family members in Venezuela are afraid. The truth is that I want to hope for the best after what we've lived through for more than 2 decades. The general sense is it can't get worse. The oil already belonged to Iranians, Cubans, Russians, and Chinese. So the oil money was dirty money. It didn't benefit Venezuelans. That's false.
So is there real hope? Is there real hope that what's coming is better than what was before?
Yes.
What was it like living in Venezuela before you came here?
It was hard, it was a little hard, but well, the situation forced us to leave, you know? We weren't hungry, but it was tough.
Was it difficult only because of finances or for other reasons too?
It was hard for me to find a job. It was really hard for me, and well, every time I talk to my mom, she's waiting for the clave box and those things.
And was Argentina the first destination, let's say?
Yes. I never thought about leaving the country, you know? But my dad came here, so I followed him later.
How did Argentina welcome you, and how has your life been here for the past 2 years?
I worked at a security company, and look, Argentinians are the best, and I love it.
Actually, I came here when I was very young, so I grew up with, I experienced many things for the first time here in Argentina, so that's pretty important to me. It really made an impact on me. only those who experienced it truly understand, and it's not over in just 2 days. That's what happens after more than 20 years in a terrible situation. And honestly, I think that intervention is fair. I do agree with it.
Why?
Because otherwise it hasn't been possible. You know what I mean? So,
like doing it the easy way wasn't possible?
Basically, to put it one way, we want to live well, we want to have a family, we want to have a good quality of life. And the truth is that Venezuela is not something that we don't have it, we don't. So, and that's not just me saying it. It's something that's obvious, it's evident with so many people who have left. So it's not something you can just cover up, you know? That's out of our hands now and that's it. No. I mean, not those who decide, since we all have that choice, but people who want to live without goals and remain that way. Well, it's a problem, but well, that's up to others. We want a country like it should be prosperous and where we can be at least have a decent salary to begin with. So we want to make a change. Let's say,
what would you say to Argentinians, if you can, to the camera?
That I honor them very much and that they have been like family to me and they have welcomed me very well. And I feel that we owe them a lot and we are very grateful to them. Honestly, the people here are very civilized. I've always said that. Argentina stands out for having a very high social status, very neat, very clean, very educated. And that's something I've always taken as a reference. So I always hold Argentina in very high regard because it deserves it.
Each of the people I interviewed, quite randomly, were totally excited, moved. You could see it in their gaze, eyes, and energy. I really believe in energy. Everyone's energy was deeply emotional. It made you want to hug them. That's the controversy for those who disagree. The good thing would be to learn to respect each other, right?